On the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here. And yes, indeed, it is Thursday, but programming note, alert. We are not doing open phones Thursday today. We're kind of shifting gears. We have a special guest on with us, tying in with our special reports that aired here on News Channel 5 Monday and Tuesday. Of course, big stories on the Holly Bobo case. We had a chance to do an exclusive interview with Jason Autry, one of the two suspects charged with kidnapping and murdering Holly Bobo. Fascinating interviews. We're going to show those stories to you this morning and give you a chance to catch up if you haven't seen them, and a chance to call in and ask questions on this Bobo case. There is a big hearing scheduled in the Bobo case next Wednesday, and one of the key players who will be there is going to be our guest this morning, Attorney Fletcher Long. Good morning, Fletcher.
Good morning, Nick. It's always a pleasure, and I'm very humbled that I got open phones Thursday. Kicked off bump.
That is one of the most popular shows where we get everyone a chance to call in. But
that's pretty impressive.
Listen, this is very newsworthy. You weren't on that long ago. You were just on a couple weeks ago, and
I was.
Then, of course, we've done these interviews with your client Autry, and I thought it was important that we bring you on now after these have aired. So many people watch them. Let me ask you this real quickly. I know a lot of viewers out there say, there's all kinds of high-profile cases, and it's not often that we get to hear from the suspect who's incarcerated. Attorneys usually don't allow that. You sometimes have a different take. I'll say this. You don't let all your clients talk, but if you deem it in their best interest, you want their side out there. Why did you allow me to interview him?
Well, one thing that needs to be brought up is that every time they make an arrest in this Bobo case, the TBI goes running and jumps in front of every camera they can grab.
Big news conference.
They have news conferences. It's not fair to allow the government to taint a potential jury pool without the defendant having some redress. I'm just overall impressed with the honesty of Jason Autry. He admits what he is. We're not running him for Congress. He admits what he is. But if he is faithful to us in what he is, then there's no reason to not believe when he tells us what he is not.
Right.
And that's really, I really am impressed with his affect. I'm impressed with the way that he answered questions, and I think that he manifests that he's really telling the truth, and I think his story is entirely legitimate. And it's important for the other side. The viewer's entitled to both sides of the coin, in my opinion. Now, I may be completely wrong about this, but I think most of your viewers would like to get both sides of the story. I know that the Constitution is supposed to preclude people from rushing to judgment. It's really not fair to try people before they get their opportunity to put their trial before a jury of their peers. And if the government is bent on prosecuting prior to that day, then we will answer it with a defense, and they should expect that.
You're aggressive that way. I will say this, and you've obviously handled some very high-profile cases in the past. You're in the middle of two big ones right now, along with the Vanderbilt rape case. But Jason Burdick, the wounded rapist, going back to Arthur March and others. I'll say this, and I've done a lot of very high-profile exclusive interviews with some of these clients, and I can't say I've ever seen a time where it's come back to hurt them. How much it's helped them, I'm not sure, but that's why I think, if anything, it humanizes them to some degree when they're charged with horrific crimes. I think that's one reason. It can influence a jury pool. Maybe that's part of your strategy. From my perspective, it's just telling the other side of it. But I frankly don't understand why more attorneys don't do this.
Well, I think that the government tries to strongly dissuade us from going on air. And to the extent to which we listen to that bit of dissuasion, it does our clients, in some instances, a real disservice. Ask yourself this question: if it wasn't important to kind of manage public perception in high-profile cases, why do district attorneys' offices have full-time salaried employees that do nothing but meet with and set up press engagements? Why does the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation have someone that is a full-time salaried employee that is meant to make press releases and give press statements and set up conferences, many of which we have seen? And Mark Gwynn, the director of the TBI, has some very nice suits, I've learned, very dapper mature and well-dressed gentlemen. But, if it wasn't important, they wouldn't be doing it. And so it's awfully self-serving and convenient that it's okay for them to do it, but if we do it, it is frowned upon. And I just don't think that that's the America that any of us was promised.
You talked about how you find Jason Autry to be very believable. We've got calls already coming in, and I want to get to those. But let's just take a look at the first part with him for those who maybe are watching now that didn't see the reports on Monday. And this is the first part of a two-part report we did, exclusive interview with Jason Autry. We did it via television uplink with Riverbend Maximum Security Prison. We're going to talk more about why that went down that way. If you're wondering why I'm yelling questions, it's because the audio system wasn't good and he had trouble hearing me. So let's have a look at that piece. Are you a killer? Are you a killer?
No, sir. By no means, I'm not a killer.
Jason Autry talked to us in this exclusive interview on a video uplink from Riverbend Maximum Security Prison.
They caused a lot of sleepless nights, and
He insists he's charged with a crime he did not commit.
innocent man falsely accused.
Autry says he has no idea what happened to Holly Bobo.
Honestly, I don't want to speculate and make a rumor of what happened to the girl.
I would tell her I love her. I want her to call us.
The 20-year-old nursing student disappeared from her family's home in Decatur County in April of 2011.
Y'all are tired. We're frustrated. We ain't brought Holly home yet.
The case made national headlines, but the investigation went nowhere for years.
First-degree felony murder.
Then the TBI suddenly announced the arrest first of 29-year-old Zach Adams this past March, followed by the 39-year-old Autry. Both are charged with kidnapping and murder. Did you kidnap and kill Holly Bobo? Were you part of that?
Just by no means did I bother that girl.
But investigators say a key witness thought to be Zach Adams' younger brother Dylan reported seeing Bobo alive in Zach's home after she disappeared, and that she was there with Zach and Autry.
I can't figure out why I've been done like this, but
Autry says no way that Dylan Adams, who is currently in jail on gun charges, is not telling the truth.
first of all, he's lying to get out of trouble. He's down there and he's waiting all this time, He ain't seen that. He's got himself in a little trouble and he's down there in O'Brien County. He don't want to do his time and he's making up stuff to get out of it.
Besides that, Autry says Dylan can't stand his brother.
They hate each other's guts. And that's a way to get back at them.
Explain your relationship with Zach Adams.
He come around. Me and him smoked, drank a little bit, dozed, hung out together. Jack didn't have a whole lot of friends.
Autry concedes he and Zach had several run-ins with the law over the years, and Autry says while serving time for an arrest in 2012, TBI agents paid him the first of many visits to press him on the Bobo case.
It was a try to be a forced move to get me to bear false witness against Zach Adams.
But Autry says he told them he knew nothing, no link between Adams and Bobo. If he did, Autry insists he would have taken the TBI up on their offer of reduced jail time and the reward money.
I was trading 5 years at $280,000 for my freedom. If I knew you did, I'd tell you.
I don't think that they have any idea who committed a crime or if a crime has been committed at all.
Autry's attorney Fletcher Long wonders if the TBI has anything other than an informant's word as evidence against his client. No body has ever been recovered in the Bobo case.
I think first you've got to prove that there is a killer and that she is dead.
Autry says whatever happened to Holly Bobo, he is not involved.
But I want to let them know that they have an innocent man right here.
There you have it. I mean, and you said it there too, and I think a lot of people wondering, they don't have a body. Do they have to prove that she's dead before they can prove that your client killed her?
Well, you have to prove the existence of a death in any murder case, whether it's circumstantially or with direct evidence, but that has to be proven. The government will concede that that is an element of the offense, that there was a death committed and that a death occurred and that the person accused of causing the death did so intentionally, deliberately, and with premeditation. And in this case, they're alleging felony murder in one of the counts, which would say that she died while they were committing another felony, in the commission of another felony.
Would that be kidnapping?
The kidnapping would be the underlying felony, but they still have to prove she's dead. In either scenario, they have to prove that she is in fact dead.
All right, we're going to take a break on that note. When we come back, phone calls already coming in. The number 737-7587. I know many of you have followed this case very closely. Fletcher Long is the attorney representing one of the prime suspects in this case, who's going to be going to court next week. And you filed several motions we've got to talk about. I mean, things developing. We'll hear more from Fletcher. Take your calls right after this. Stay with us.